Hey guys, Average Scarecrow here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Thank you for dropping by the channel. I appreciate you. Today we're going to be doing a real quick, I'm rushing to get this one out. I'm actually going to have two videos today because I already have one scheduled. I'm pushing that one back a little bit, so be on the lookout for that. But I just saw the news that we're getting a new Fragment champion for the Shadowkin. So we've got Masahiro the Bell Monk, a Fragment champion, like I said, legendary HP-based Force Affinity champion. I'm excited for this guy for a couple reasons, but the main one is that we're finally getting a dedicated legendary revive champion. This is a revive on the AoE, and it's not conditional. It's an on-demand revive. That means that we don't need other things to happen. It's not a random ally, so on and so forth. It's an AoE revive. All allies. It's fantastic. It's much needed for faction wars, especially for this faction. The random revives are just not good enough for faction wars hard for most players. So I'm thinking of like Gamaran, random revive. I'm thinking of Sachi, random revive. I'm thinking of Yukimasa, random revive, or conditionally an AoE revive, right? So we're not having that issue with this champion at all. And I think overall his kit is really good. So he's got an AoE on the A1, Ring of Dissonance. It's a 50% chance of placing decreased crit rate for one turn on all enemies. On a reliable 50%, books up to 75% chance. Now, decreased crit rate on an AoE is actually going to be really good for faction wars as well, because some of these bosses are placing increased crit rate. They're placing all sorts of buffs, and they can hit really, really hard. So if you can mitigate the critical hits that your team receives, that's just fantastic. It's really good. So I really like the A1. Decreased crit rate isn't my favorite debuff, but in this case, for where I'm going to be using him the most, I really like it. On the A2, Redemptive Fervor attacks a single target. Before attacking, has a 75, books up to 100% chance of transferring all debuffs from all allies to the target. So it's essentially a full cleanse in the sense that you are going to transfer all the buffs onto the enemy team. Now, I would, because it's from all allies, what I would do is I would build this guy with super high resistance. He's not going to take any debuffs, but he's going to transfer all of your debuffs onto the enemy team. This is a new kind of interesting one. I don't think there's a champion in the game that has this ability. That's really cool. We have transfer abilities in the game, but on an AoE, on 100% land rate, I don't think we have that yet. So correct me if I'm wrong. And he's also got heals all allies by 25% of this champion's max HP and places a strengthen on them for 2 turns. Now that is just, you know, icing on the cake. So you've got a full debuff transfer from your entire team onto and I think it's all, no, it's onto that single target enemy. Sorry. So it's not on all enemies. It's just on the single target, but it's cleansing your entire team. Then you have a really powerful heal here based on his max HP. He's an HP-based champion, so it's going to scale really well. You build him with 100,000 HP, and you've got yourself a 25,000 heal on your entire team. And then a strengthen as well is just fantastic. Love this ability. Books to a really good 3-turn cooldown. And then on the A3, Humble Savior, it's an AoE attack. Before attacking, revives all allies with 50% HP, 50% turn meter, and this skill can be used even if there are no dead allies. That's even better. I love that because we're getting an AoE chance, 75% chance, of placing a stun for 1 turn and block buffs for 2 turns. So a revive that also has an AoE stun is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And then if it's a boss instead, we have a 75 books up to 100% chance of placing decreased speed and block buffs instead of the stun. So now he has utility outside of faction wars, right? You can use them in Hydra. Decreased speed and block buffs are really, really, really essential buffs for Hydra. And it's a reliable 4-turn cooldown when booked. So all 3 of these abilities right out the gate, I love them. I think they're all really good. And he's got a passive as well here, For My Sins. All allies receive 1% less damage for each turn taken by enemies and allies while they remain alive, up to 15%. Each champion's damage reduction resets when they die or between rounds. So over the course of a fight, you're getting AoE, I'm sorry, not AoE, you're just getting damage mitigation up to 15%. That is really good for all the clan bosses, right? So I'm thinking bosses here, right? You've got strengthen, you've got block buffs, you've got decreased speed, you've got decreased crit rate, and now you've got a permanent in some cases, if you're a champion stay alive, you've got a permanent 15% damage mitigation on all allies. That's incredible. Also, allies revived by this champion are immune to crowd control debuffs until the start of their turn. Resets when the revived allies take a turn, are killed, or between rounds. So now you've got, on revived allies, you've got protection against crowd control debuffs. So think of like Fabian, for example. So when you revive, Fabian will place True Fear on your allies or on your revived allies for 2 turns. Now you can circumvent that. So it's not a total counter to Fabian's passive, because Fabian still has the lockout. He's got the petrifications. He's got all that stuff, right? But it's something, right? It also prevents you from getting stunned by like an Odin, for example. There's a lot of really good crowd control debuffs. Queen of Hearts, she gets a turn with her A2. She'll still place the Death Brand, but she won't place the True Fears. So a lot of really good stuff going on in this kit. I think this guy's going to overall be an incredibly good champion for just about everybody. If you're progressing through even Faction Wars normal, right? I'm talking Faction Wars hard because that's where I'm at, but this guy's going to carry you through Faction Wars normal. He's going to keep your team alive. He's going to control. He's going to cleanse. He's going to mitigate the damage you receive. This guy is really, really, really good. The only thing I don't like about his kit is the aura. Increases force ally speed in all battles by 25%. Now, to be clear here, if you run an all force affinity team, or even most force affinity team, it's great. However, if you're going to use other affinity champions, it can throw off your speed tuning. It can cause some issues, right? So if you're going to run an all force team, it's actually a fantastic aura. So for example, if you run this guy with like a Mikage, I'm thinking Harima is really good. Harima is going to pair really nicely with this guy because she's mitigating ignore defense as well. So that's going to be a crazy combo. But you've got Mikage, Harima, Yukimasa, the Christmas fusion would benefit from this. But outside of that, I can't think of many other force affinity legendaries. There's some, Sachi, for example, is a force affinity epic who I think is okay. Tomoa is another force affinity. Fenshi is another force affinity epic. So there are quite a few, but I really like running Ninja in Faction Wars, and I have an Unreo Ieyasu, who's void affinity. Those guys will not benefit from this. So overall, I think this guy has an incredible kit. I don't like saying must go. You have to get this guy because it's a video game at the end of the day. You don't have to do anything in this game. But I think that if you have the resources available, if you need a reviver for Shadowkins, or just a reviver in different areas of the game, like this guy's just a strong reviver everywhere in the game. So I do think that he's worth it if you're going to go for him. I'm not going to say that it's a must go for, but I do think it's worth it. So let me know what you think of this kit, guys. Let me know if you're going to be going for him. I'm absolutely going for him. He's going to be an instant 6-star, instant booking for me as well. I have books saved. Well, maybe not instant. If it lines up with a champion, I'm sorry, not champion training. If it lines up with a personal rewards CVC, I'll definitely instantly book and max out then. But if not, I might wait until then to pull him and max him. So anyway, I'm going to end it there, guys. Let me know what you think of this guy. Are you going for him? Do you think his kit is really good? Do you think it's not so great? Let me know. I appreciate your views. I appreciate all the follows, all the subscriptions. We're up to 300 subscriptions. We broke 300. So thank you so much and take care, guys. I'll see you on the next one.